Welcome to the guiding videos of the first module, the map reading modules. And in today's video, we're going to show you how to read conventional signs shown on map. So if you take out any maps, and then you can easily find out there are so many symbols printed on the maps. And we call these symbols the conventional signs because these symbols are used to show different objects or geological features shown on maps. So if you try to take out your textbook right now, and then you can find a very clear list is already printed on your textbook. So if you turn on the first few pages of your textbook, and then you can find there is a very clear list for the 1 to 5,000 racial maps, and also there's also another set of symbols that is for the 1 to 20,000 racial maps. And then the problem would be how can you remember them all? Because some of the students will already be panicked or freak out because there are so many symbols and so many conventional signs. So how can you remember them all? So my answer is I won't suggest you to memorizing them all because that would be too time consuming. And actually, this kind of symbol are designed for public use. So they don't expect only some senior year secondary school geography student to understand it. They want the public to understand it. So it must be in line with the common sense. So just have a very quick glance of it. I can guarantee that you can easily recognize over 90% of the symbols. But there is also some of the symbol that may need further explanation or may need some special attention. For example, right here, there are three examples. Number nine, this symbol, I bet this must be one of the easiest one because you can see a building in the middle, and then you can also find a cross there, so it must be a church. And then for conventional sign number 10, and then you can see an envelope there. So what kind of buildings will be represented by an envelope? And then that must be post office. So these two are not that difficult, right? So over 90% of them can be recognized easily because they just are just common sense. And some of them, to be honest, is a little bit more difficult, just like the number 8 here, because you can see right here is two pairs of circle with a strict line connecting each of them. So actually, these symbols is called declared monument. So it is representing all those protected buildings or historic building that may be of huge historic value. So that is the symbols or the conventional size for declared monument. And here are a few more examples. So right here you can see number 5, the symbols of Hong Kong, our regional emblem. So what kind of buildings will be represented by this kind of size? That must be something related to government. So it's a symbol for government offices. And for number 6 and number 7, for these two, actually it's not that difficult, but it may also take extra attention because many students will confuse them or mix it up because they are so similar. For number 6 is black in the background, but for the center cross is white. And for number 7, this size is white in the background, but the center cross is black. So the number 6 is represent for the hospital, and the number 7 is represent for the clinic. So make sure you can distinguish each of them. Okay. So that's all for the symbol. But after you can understand and recognize different symbols, and then we go through to the next step, and that is the map interpretation. Why? Because actually the meaning of the symbol are not only limited to the explanation printed on your textbook, because you can not only find one or two symbols on map. Actually, you can find so many symbols on different particular regions. So when the symbols all together, they may have some hidden meaning or hidden message that may need further interpretation. And this process, we call them map interpretation. So, for example, right here in location A, here you can see so many gray rectangle here. So, this kind of gray rectangle actually is a conventional site for the built-up areas. So, you can then understand there may be some building there. But next to location A, there's also location B. So right here you can find there are so many needle shape or fork-like symbols. And if you still remember, or if you can recognize it, they are the symbol for slopes. So these kind of symbols mean there are some steep slopes or artificial slopes. So together with location A, you can then understand that this building should be built on a small hill. And then also next to location B, there are also location C and D. And for location C, you can find out there is power lines. For location D, you can find out there are railway station and some main roads. So all this information together, and then you can have a further interpretation for the buildings on location A. So you can then understand that the building on location A should be some residential buildings, and they may be even high or middle income housing estate because they are so close to some power lines. So it means that they will have enough electricity supply, and then they are so close to railway station. So it means that it's so convenient. So their housing price will be higher, and then it built up on a small hill so that it can enjoy this astonishing sea view. So all this information together, we can have a further interpretation on the building of location A. So that's why or how we do map interpretation. And I think that's it for today's videos. I will see you next time. Bye bye.